Hello friends and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I'd like to talk about what we could see in the future in the form of a Darkside hero's journey or villain's journey or something to that extent. Star Wars is obviously full of great journeys, right? Starting off with Padawan or some kind of learner, apprenticing with a master, moving on through to get more and more experience and ultimately becoming the master, him or herself. Now, we've seen one in the Luke Skywalker hero's journey. We're getting our Reys hero's journey in the next couple of, probably shortly before or shortly after, or my guess would be in December, because it's just going to be around the movie. That's what I'm thinking. But with that, what other hero's journey or Darkside hero's journey will we be getting? Or would it be really cool to see? Now, I have come up with 5 different villain journeys or hero's journeys, with the exception of it going to the dark side, that kind of thing, that would be fun for us to play through. And I don't have them necessarily in any order, but these are the ones that I personally would like to see. Now, coming in at number 1 would be Reys Fall. Now, this is obviously going to be predicated on the idea that Rey falls to the dark side. What I think will happen, what I think we'll actually see is Rey and Kylo Ren won't actually fall to the dark side. They'll fall to the middle. We see these light side tendencies in Kylo Ren. We see maybe some dark side tendencies in Rey. She's very passionate. She's very controlled by emotion. She's also very controlled by fear. The fact that she won't leave Jakku for the longest time is something that's controlled by fear. Her response to Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base was not one that, hey, I'm going to stop you from hurting my friend. It's like, hey, you hurt my friend. I'm going to F you up. I'm going to take it to you. And she beats a trained Sith. I guess he's not a Sith, but she beats someone who's been trained in the Force. Now, granted, she's powerful. We know she's powerful. But it's possible and maybe likely, I don't necessarily know, that she will fall to the dark side. Now, if she doesn't fully fall to the dark side, I'd be kind of disappointed. I won't be shocked, though, because it is Disney and it is, they do have a tendency to go lighthearted with things. But I would like to see her fall. The next Darkside hero's journey or Darkside journey that I would like to see us go on would be the fall of Azra Bridger. Now, for those of you should all know who Ezra is right now. He's essentially one of the most viable toons from the Phoenix Squad. We essentially have everything that we need, but what would be cool about this fall is we would be introduced to at least one other really cool new toon, and that would be Maul. Not Darth Maul, but Maul. And for those of you who don't follow the Star Wars Rebels series, spoilers are coming. You've had your warning. Now, for those of you who don't follow the series, Maul kind of takes Ezra as an apprentice. Now, Ezra doesn't fully accept the apprenticeship. Kanan is fighting against it. But eventually it does lead to Maul's demise, but we see Ezra turn more and more to the dark side. And there's some very specific moments where Ezra, man, there's some darkness that broods from that kid. Right now he's a very broody teenager, and whether he's Rey's daddy or not, or whether he's DJ in episode 8, I'm still holding out that he is. I'm still holding out that DJ is going to be Azra Bridger. For those of you who don't know, DJ is going to be played by none other than Benicio del Toro. And if you look at the pictures side by side, man, Benicio del Toro looks just like an aged Azra Bridger. And I don't care what anyone says, I do think the timelines match up. I think it works. But it would be sweet, because DJ, we know, stands for Dark Jedi. We don't have an official name, and we know that he's going to be the baddie of episode 8, or a bad guy in a sense in episode 8. Whether he's a full-on the bad guy, the antagonist of the episode, I don't know. But I think he's going to be Ezra Bridger. I'm still holding out hopes. We have less than 50 days till that comes out. We have like 40-something. Super excited, guys. But it would be cool, because what we would see is we'd see Ezra slowly falling to the dark side. We'd see tons of battles that would go up against the Empire during or between seasons 2 and 3. We'd see some very awesome moments. We could see a rework of Ezra. That would be awesome. Or a new Ezra character. And whether we see Ezra's fall or not, it would be kind of cool to see the Rebels, the Phoenix Squad, get that hero's journey. Because their story is a really cool one, and I really do enjoy it. Now, there are a lot of other ones that I would like, but I think that would be a really fun one, and a fairly simple one that a lot of people could play, mostly because all of the characters that would be needed for that, except any new characters they brought on, already exist in the game and are probably the easiest to get, right? The Phoenix Squad should be the first squad that most new players get. Something around that I think would be pretty fun. Also, it would be cool to give a hero's journey that new players could take part in and get, you know, that new character. So again, really hoping for Ezra to show up in episode 8 as Benicio del Toro. I'm not 100% that that's going to happen, but that is my hope. Now, the third hero's journey, the third dark side journey that I would like to see thrown in there won't happen, but it would be really cool to see if a Thrawn dark side journey. Now, it essentially would be from the moment Thrawn was picked up on the planet that the Empire found him, where he works his way all the way through to become a Grand Admiral. Now, obviously, since we have Grand Admiral Thrawn, it is unlikely that we're going to get a new Grand Admiral Thrawn. We're not going to get a new character. But it would be a cool way to introduce new types of ships into the experience. Now, I love the Imperial ships. There's a lot of really cool things. But I don't know if that's going to be something that we get. I would love to see a Darkside Hero's Journey, or a Darkside journey that focused entirely around ships. That would be sweet. I would be like, just so cool to me. But I don't know. I don't think we're going to go see that. So, now, moving on, that was kind of my shortest one. Moving on is not necessarily a hero's journey, but a journey of redemption, and that would be Vader's journey to redemption. Starting with the Battle of Scarif, we would see Vader just going through and kicking butt on, you know, the Tantive 4. We would see him added to, we'd see him going up against Kenobi. I mean, we've already seen that. We'd see him doing other things, and essentially it would be the final redemptive journey would be Vader versus Palpatine, right? It would be Vader versus, you know, we'd also see a Vader versus, you know, Return of the Jedi Luke. We could see Vader versus a number of other things that took place that I'm sure that we'll find out more and more information of him actually leading squads and fighting stuff. We could see Vader fighting against, you know, on Hoth, right? Fighting his way through the Rebel base on Echo base. But what I'm thinking, though, it'd be cool if we got that, because then we could see a new Vader. We could see a new Palpatine, which would also be sweet. And it would also give us a chance to just throw us a Return of the Jedi Luke. I know that a lot of people were hoping that that's what that Commander Luke Skywalker was going to be. Obviously, that's not what he got. Really, personally, the only other Luke that I want to see is Old Man Luke, Force Ghost Luke. Really, those are the only two. But Old Man Luke and Force Ghost Luke. Now, some honorable mentions that could have made the list, but just didn't, because I don't think they are as likely. And I might catch some shade for this, but I would love to see a Starkiller Darkside journey. And then maybe a Starkiller Redeemed journey. I think that would be pretty sweet. Additionally, I would love to see a Revan fall, not even a Revan Redeemed, the fall of Revan, which would be, you know, Old Republic. I don't think that this game will actually introduce that. I think that I think we could get a Revan. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But an actual hero's journey Revan, Old Republic, I don't think we're going to get a ton of. Possibly, but there's a lot of stuff coming out in the next year that we'll see more and more introduced. I don't know, but I don't think that we'll get those. Now they could, because they could introduce Old Republic characters sometime this time next year, actually, because what we're going to see is a separation between movies, right? So we have episode 8 coming out in a couple of weeks, right? 6 weeks, I think. Then about 5 months after that, we have the Han Solo movie. But then a whole year after that, we have episode 9 coming out. So almost a year and a half after episode 8 is released, we have to wait for episode 9. Maybe even 2 full years. I don't really remember when the date is. But with that, I think they do have time to throw in Old Republic characters. And that could be when we get, you know, old, you know, Revan or Bastila Shan or those other characters. Hopefully that's the time that we get that, but who knows? I don't know. So, but my final fall to the dark side coming in is the man himself, Darth Vader, but it is Anakin's fall to the dark side. Now, what would be cool is this would be set in Republic era, Rise of the Empire, obviously. It would start off with the Battle of Coruscant. It would introduce us to Dooku's fall. It would introduce us to General Grievous, hopefully a reworked General Grievous. That would be awesome. It would probably take place, you know, it would go up against a number of different things. Maybe 4th or even 5th one would be Order 66, where the clones would then have maybe a new gamer, a new tag, where they would be Order 66, and then they would have the connection to Anakin under Order 66, or Anakin Fallen, or, you know, Vader Anakin. I don't know what they would call him. But essentially it would go from, it would introduce Order 66, it would have the clones fighting the Battle of the Jedi Temple, which would be awesome, right? Introducing us possibly to some new Jedi, which would be sweet. It would have Anakin killing younglings. I don't know if that would go over well, but he did it. Anakin is essentially a mass murderer. This is not new news. He killed the Tusken Raiders mercilessly. He killed the younglings mercilessly, right? And then in the future as Darth Vader, he killed a lot of other people mercilessly. But the final fight would be on Mustafar, would be between, I mean, even number 6, phase 6 of this would be Anakin killing all the final fight, General Kenobi versus Anakin. And you have to survive long enough to just be able to scream, "I hate you!" Right? That would be awesome. That is what I'm hoping for a dark side fall, and would be a really cool way for them to reintroduce a new Vader. I mean, let's face it, we've had the same Vader since launch, I think. And at launch, he was just ridiculously hard to get, or you know, the Empire reworks around him have been fine, but really he's not the most effective character anymore. And he doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to have the most effective character every single time, but it would be cool for us to get a new Vader. I mean, we have a ton of other characters. Why not? Why not get a duplicate Vader? We have a duplicate Luke, many duplicate Hans, a few duplicate Chewies, right? Give us another Vader. That would be sweet. What Darkside Journey would you like to see played out in the game? Leave a comment in the section below. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Now, in the future, I will be taking requests for video suggestions. If you guys have any concepts that you'd like for me to play out, leave a comment in the section below now. I'm going to put a survey on the link sometime in the next week or so that I can actually do fan requested videos. So this has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends.